and more so to thank the President and the first Vice President for having gained honor and respect from its honorable members, including the team that I've been leading, to the extent that now it has full support from almost the entire membership of the engineers of Kenya. For me, for the first time, I have a team of over 70 engineers from the Ministry of Water, Sanitation, and Irrigation in the conference. National Water, Ministry of Water headquarters led by the Water Secretary, Engineer Samuel Alima, and the entire team of the Ministry of Water. It will be fair to also, as Chair has done his part, let me also introduce my team to kindly stand. I wouldn't mention their names, I'll just ask them, including consultants who work with us every day. I think there's some, I hope they are not in the beach. Yes, you can see the number. I hope they are not in the beach. So we have a list of, a long list of engineers, and I want to thank you. These are the people and engineers that we work with them every day. And as I'm CS also, following the enactment of the New Water Act, established over 15 institutions involved in regulation of water services and resources, and those who are undertaking works and training and groundwater. In every board, I ensured that we have an engineer in every board. And for Jen, I want to assure you, women were also engaged. So I wish to thank you for this organization and appreciate. I bring you greetings and warm regards from our President, the head of state, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. He's very happy with the work engineers are doing in ensuring the Big Four agenda, which is our government agenda, is delivered. 101% of that agenda, Big Four agenda, is driven and championed by engineers who are mostly in this room. I want to thank you. I also bring you greetings from the Deputy President, who also has a lot of high regard for the membership in the room, and the members and my colleagues, whom I believe are still going to address this conference. My colleague, CS Masharia, and other colleagues who are still part of the program, I want to express their sincere appreciation in whatever roles and functions you play. We do appreciate as government. So, I take this opportunity to congratulate IEK for consistently organizing this engineers conference that draws the participation of members to reflect on various aspects of engineering profession. I am therefore honored to join you today and share with you some of the government programs that are dependent on engineering profession. As you are aware, government through the Ministry of Water, Sanitation, and now Irrigation, I want to admit that I'm yet to really embrace the new position of irrigation, but it's the first conference and meetings that I'm addressing as also CS for irrigation, which is an honor and a great opportunity to serve Kenyans. As you are aware, government plans to develop and implement major programs all over the country to increase water storage, expand water and sanitation coverage in line with the Vision 2030, as well as driving realization of the Big Four agenda and fulfilling sustainable goals. You will recall that under Article 43D of the Constitution, access to water and sanitation services is a basic human right. The current national water coverage stands at 62%, while safely managed basic sanitation stands at 25%. In this regard, and in order to meet requirement of the Constitution and Vision 2030, and SDG goals and Africa Vision 2063, the ministry has planned implementation of several projects across the country. These projects require the input of professional engineers for design and supervision of construction works. Some of the major projects the ministry is implementing is the Northern Collector Tunnel that will supply over 140,000 cubic meters of water per day to the residents of our big city of Nairobi, as well as Muranga's residents and Kiambu along the route. And the Thwake Dam, which will give us over 150,000 meters cube of water per day to the residents of Makueni, Machakos, and Kitui. And this will also extend to Kwavonza in Kitui, Kibwezi in Makueni, and also our Silicon Valley Techno City of Konza. The implementation of Itare Dam was suspended at 27%, but we are hopeful the situation will be resolved, and once completed, the dam will give the residents of Nakuru, Elbagon, Joro, and Kuresoi over 100,000 meters cube of water per day. At the same time, we are implementing water and sanitation projects in over 28 towns in Kenya. And these include Kikuyu, Githunguri, Mwala, Machakos, Kerugoya, Kutus, Meru, relocation of sewerage, sanitation and treatment works in Meru. For the first time in Mandera, we shall have water and sewerage. For the first time in Marsabit, we shall have water and sewerage services in our county headquarters, in Chebareri and West Pokot, in Malaba, in Unguja, Senge, Homa Bay, Kindu Bay, Kericho, Kisii, Kisumu. All these activities are happening at the same time. Here at the coast, repooling of Changamwe ponds and Pemba down here in Kwale, and also construction of big projects in Mwache, which will deliver over 186,000 meters cube of water to the city of Mombasa and parts of Kwale. As we also embark on the second phase of Mzima Spring Pipeline, we have just concluded or finalizing the contracting part of the project. In all these 28 towns, we expect to connect over 2.1 million Kenyans to water and about 1.3 million Kenyans to safe sanitation services. These projects will in the short term create employment to Kenyans and ultimately improve the health and livelihood of our people. There is a connection between engineering and health. In the city of Nairobi, through mapping and case study, over 26 people have been reported to be suffering from waterborne diseases. And the reason is the pollution, open defecation, and effluent discharge on our waterways. These projects have been identified to drive the Big Four. Nairobi Northern Collector Tunnel covering Nairobi and Murang'a will drive several projects, including Park Road, Starehe, Shauri Moyo, Kibera, Mariguini, Ruai, Level 3 and 4 and 5 hospitals. Thwake will drive implementation of Letha Park Industry of Kenanie, Konsa Technopolis and Level 3, 4 and 5 hospitals, while Ruiru will serve our hospitals as well as Karimenu and Mwache Dam in the coast. Mzima equally will serve our hospitals, industrial parts of Dongokundu, and housing infrastructure in Mombasa County. Darugu is also, we are finalizing the financing as well as Maragwa 2 and Aberdare. Ladies and gentlemen, and engineering fraternity, fellow Kenyans, in ensuring access to water and sanitation, we continue to face many challenges, key among them being diminishing water resources and ensuring conflicts among some of our counties and users on transboundary water. I know you saw the kind of altercations we had with some counties between Nairobi and the neighborhood. The role and the mandate of water resource allocation rise with the ministry and the national government. It is for this reason, otherwise counties like Mombasa and Nairobi will never have water. And it is for that reason this year we will be, through the new Water Act, be operationalizing the joint authority where water will be clustered and managed jointly, Kwale, Kilifi, Mombasa, and Taita Taveta, under coastal bulk water system. This way, we will be able to manage distribution and the sources of water. It's the same thing that we'll do for the Kiambu, Murang'a, Nairobi, and in Elgeyo Marakwet and Uasin Gishu, where water is moving from county to the other county. We equally have transboundary water between us and Tanzania, between us and Ethiopia, between us and Uganda. All these require an innovative way of ensuring upstream and downstream users are benefiting from this resource. Ladies and gentlemen, in ensuring equitable access to water and sanitation, therefore, the ministry headquarters and at the institutional level, an ever-increasing national population coupled with skyrocketing water demand to support national development. Let me turn to my focus for a while on water resource management, which forms the basis of developing water infrastructure. Pollution of water resources is currently at alarming state. And this is a challenge that I want to pose to our engineers in the room. I can now say, fellow engineers in the room. And Jane here is warning that the word fellow is also used very sparingly. Pollution of water, you've seen the toxic flow. You have seen pollution of our rivers turning from blue to black. We have cases increasing, waterborne diseases. And my challenge to all our Kenyan people, the more we pollute, discharging effluent, not the fecal and the human waste, which can be treated by chlorination, but discharge of heavy metals like mercury, lead, copper into our rivers, we are slowly killing our people. The people living downstream, Nairobi River flows over 400 kilometers from Ondiri Springs in Kiambu, through Nairobi, through Machakos, Makueni, Tana River, downstream. The entire population of Kenyans using that river is over 3 million Kenyans. And the more we continue discharging effluent, we are killing our people. We must change our culture. We must improve our engineering. And my challenge to engineers in the room is that we must bring the cost of projects down. We must design, maximize our design. We must enhance our siting. We must be very careful on how we site our projects so that we don't invest in white elephant projects. Projects have been sited in settlement areas which turn to be collection of sewer. So we have cases, a project that cost in Mwache costed us 13 billion shillings. While we have others smaller than this, which by design or by error are double in terms of price. Engineers, you hold your responsibility and owe this to your country. You are in charge, not the accountants, not the finance manager, not the procurement officer. It is engineers who are responsible for managing and controlling projects' costs. You should not approve variations without due consideration and assessment. You owe this to your country. You must not engage in exaggerated costing of our projects. We all know the bureau in a professional center has costed the price of cement, the price of excavation, the price of steel, the price of concrete. How come it cost 3 times Well, we know the national standard rate is 12,000 per meter cube. Concrete and class 25, 20, all these, we know the prices. Fellow Kenyans, you have a job, you have a responsibility, you have a duty to your nation and your country. It is for that reason the entire 28 towns projects, sewerage and water, we borrowed 50 billion shillings to do this project. We have spent 27 billion shillings. We have saved a total of 23 billion shillings because of the process that we involved. And I want to thank the team involved, the professional consultants involved, and all those who oversee these projects. And for that reason, we have enough money to again engage on appraising additional projects. If you are doing a road from Mombasa to Nairobi, and we know the cost per kilometer is 30 million shillings, how come a proposal is going to 100 million shillings per kilometer? If electrical, fiber optic, transmission lines, and all these engineering works are going by this rate, how come it is more expensive to do a railway from Kenya, to do a building in Kenya, to do a pipeline in Kenya as compared to Tanzania, to Uganda, to Ethiopia? I put it squarely before the fellow members in this room that you have a duty and a responsibility to your country. The amount of water being supplied has continued to increase without expansion of sewerage works and wastewater treatment plants. And I remember the days of Engineer Musuva, Engineer Erastus Mwongera. The investment and focus at that time was delivery of water for domestic use. Today, we have a lot of water in our cities flowing from various sources. But the challenge is the complementary investment in the treatment of wastewater. This water ends up in our rivers. And it is for that reason that as we plan, and we have changed our approach as ministry, Water Secretary is here, and as ministry, our approach is now concurrent, both water and sewerage, so that we live in safe and secure environments. In this regard, the ministry in the coming days will partner with departments to establish multi-agency team that will physically patrol critical rivers with a view of enforcing the laws, rules, and regulations pertaining to management of water resources. It will be punitive, but this must be done now rather than later. Already NEMA and WARMA have enhanced their monitoring roles, and I've already seen some temperatures rising. But I want to tell you Kenyans, I want to tell you engineers, we have no choice. We have no choice. If a fellow is building, and you are an engineer, you are a structural engineer, somebody and you are also a planning engineer, you are working in the city, and you have approved a building which has no plan for sewer discharge, where do you think that sewer will go? Where do you think that sewer will go? You have a flat of 10 floors in Kilelesho or in Nyali, and you have approved, you are supervising, you are overseeing construction of this building as an engineer, and there is no provision, there is no septic tank, there is no outlet pipe, and you continue working. Are you really complying with professional ethics? Even morally, other than professional, morally, where do you think that waste will go? We have inspected rivers and buildings in Nairobi, together with the Water CAS and the Water Secretary. We have seen buildings openly delivering wastewater into the river. Openly. And they continue to work. So, we are going to increase patrols, and we will work as a team. Next week, we'll be sitting with my colleagues, the Health CS, Environment CS, ICT CS. We'll be meeting to discuss how to deal with this problem, because it is now or never. At this juncture, I wish to alert you and inform you that also, following these concerns, the Ministry of Water and Sanitation will be hosting Kenya Sanitation Conference, International Conference, for the first time on the 28th to 31st of October at the KICC. You are invited to participate and present either as President of Africa, East Africa, and Kenya, and fellow engineers, the window for expo and promotion and innovative ideas. Because I always believe if we are able to deliver a masterpiece engineering in form of Northern Collector Tunnel, then Kenyans have the ideas, they have the knowledge, and they have the capacity to deliver Kenyan solutions to Kenyan problems. I wish to invite you, and the team from the Ministry of Water are eager to receive and give you a slot, including participation in Expo. On the other hand, lack of financial resources is another major challenge facing the sector. According to our National Water Master Plan for a period 2030, my ministry requires annually over 100 billion shillings to attain its development targets. However, the available annual budget over time has been about 40 billion, except for this financial year, which has moved to 55 billion. There is therefore a huge financial gap annually that greatly affects the sector's ability to meet its targets. This calls for comprehensive investment planning between the national government and the county government to ensure value for money and avoid duplication. You know, when I get to my boardroom, I think Engineer Mwangera remembers the boardroom in Maji House. There is a kind of a post which was covered by a newspaper in 1963, which was a statement by the founding president that there will be water for all by 1970. There will be water for all by 1970. This is the same statement I say now, that there will be water for all by 2030. Now, the challenge is our priorities